In standard 9th, we will be continuing the chapter. I want you to be on page number 17. We will be starting the subheading 4th 5-year plan, which lasted from 1969 to 1974. The intentions behind setting the goals of this plan were that India should become self-reliant. Nowadays, a very common word that we are hearing or reading in the newspapers or hearing on the TV channels, Atmanirbhar. Atmanirbhar means self-dependent, self-reliant. Government should develop the basic industries, increase the speed of economic development, and pay attention to establishing a socialistic pattern of society. These were the goals of this 4th 5-year plan. 14 major banks in the country were nationalized. They were brought under government control. They were nationalized. This plan did not succeed as expected. All the efforts of the government to make this plan successful failed. The economy had to bear the burden of the Bangladesh war. India went into war with Pakistan to liberate Bangladesh. The expenditure over the refugees had to be borne as well. India allowed people from Pakistan or Bangladesh to come to India and settle down, those who did not want to be a part of West Pakistan, East Pakistan, which was Bangladesh. The Indian economy suffered due to the pay rise of the government and railway servants. Whatever happens, government employees want their necessary pay raise because everyone faces hardships. The dwindling economy, the increasing inflation, the increasing expenses affects everyone. The rise in prices of petrol in the international markets also affected India negatively. This was the description of the 4th 5-year plan. All these 5-year plans separately may not be asked to you in exams, but you need to be aware of the details. Moving on with the 5th 5-year plan between 1974 and 1979. This plan was designed with the goal of making India economically self-sufficient by alleviating poverty, by removing poverty. The objectives of the 5th plan were as follows. Now the goals were to increase the national income, make large-scale employment available, supply education, nutritious food and drinking water to every citizen of the country, to make facilities of medical treatment available in rural areas, in village areas, to supply electricity where there was no electricity, and means of communication, to construct the roads, to make the transport available, implement social welfare schemes on a wide scale, bring about the development of agriculture, increase the basic industries, purchase food grains to be distributed through the public distribution system, we call it as ration system, and other life-sustaining goods by monopoly purchase and make them available to the poor at reasonable prices through a public distribution system, through rationing. All these were the objectives of the 5th 5-year plan. During the 5th plan, it was not possible to achieve the goals of removal of poverty and increase in employment. There was little success in other goals, but these two goals were not successful. They were not achieved. In the 1977 general elections, the Congress party was defeated. It lost the elections. The Janata Party came to power. The new government ended the 5th plan towards the end of 1978. It ended the plan 1 year earlier because it was not being successful, and it started rolling out the rolling plan from April 1978, but that too failed. In 1980, general elections were held again for Lok Sabha. This time, the Congress party came back to power. The Congress government closed the system of the rolling plan, and again started planning like before. It worked towards making the sixth five-year plan for the years 1980 to 1985. This plan also stressed upon alleviation of poverty, removal of poverty, and employment generation. Now the focus was to generate employment, to create jobs for the public. This plan had the following objectives: significantly increase the growth rate in the economy, reduce the rate of poverty and unemployment, shape and implement a population policy so that people adopted the small family norm voluntarily. The government wanted us to control the population, to have lesser number of children, but voluntarily. Government was not forcing the people to follow this, and thus the government tried to keep the population under control. This happened in the sixth five-year plan. Also, it implemented the following programs: Integrated Rural Development Program IRDP, RLEGP Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program. In the villages, whoever did not have a land of his own or of her own, a guarantee was provided that he or she will definitely get a job. NREP National Rural Employment Program, creating jobs in the villages by setting up factories and industries. And Salem Steel Plant. Salem is very famous for its steel, the quality of steel. This plant was set up in the sixth five-year plan. The success of the sixth five-year plan made the government work on the seventh five-year plan from 1985 to 1990. This plan laid stress on food, employment and productivity, creation of consumer goods. The objectives of the plan included development, modernization, self-reliance, social justice, improving the techniques of production to achieve an yearly increase in national income of 5% and increase food grain production. These were the objectives of the seventh five-year plan. So we wanted development, we wanted India to get modernized, we wanted India to become self-reliant, social justice to be prevailing in the society, all the techniques of production we wanted to improvise on them, and the national income was supposed to be increased to 5%. And to make this possible, the following programs were started in this plan. Jawahar Rojgar Yojana, creating jobs for the youth. India Awas Yojana, making shelter, making homes available to the common public at subsidized rates. Scheme of 10 lakh wells to solve the problem of water scarcity in India. The seventh plan proved to be important from the point of view of employment generation. There was huge success as far as the creation of jobs was concerned. Moving on to the eighth five-year plan from 1992 to 1997. This plan gave a lot of scope to the private sector. Now the focus was to give opportunities to the private companies, the people in the businessmen in the private sector. The plan had the following features: to maintain the rate of growth in national income at 6.5%. From 5% we raised it to 6.5%. To control the growth of population, to encourage the program of family planning, to remove illiteracy by expansion of primary education. Now the concentration was making the children educated. And for this, to achieve this goal, the following programs were started during this plan. Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, Mahila Samriddhi Yojana to make for women empowerment, Rashtriya Samajik Arthik Sahaya Yojana. The government was ready to help the people socially and financially. Midday meal scheme, free food was made available to the children from the rural areas who were going to the government schools. Indira Mahila scheme and Ganga Kalyan scheme. During the 8th plan, the importance of the private sector grew. This plan is a reflection of the liberalization and free market policy adopted in 1991. India opened up its economy for the world. The international companies were allowed to come and operate and open their offices in India. Similarly, Indian companies and Indian businesses were allowed to participate on the international stage. Ninth five-year plan, which lasted from 1997 to 2002, focused on agriculture and rural development. Now we were trying to concentrate on food grain production, agricultural field, and development of the villages. The objectives of this plan were to increase the rate of growth of the economy, create healthy competition in the infrastructure sector. Infrastructure means the flyovers, the roads, the water connections, the electricity outreach. Give a new direction to industrial policy for ensuring foreign investment. Now, India wanted foreign investment, money to be coming from foreign players and investments to be made in India. To make this possible, the following schemes were started during this plan. Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rozgar Yojana, Bhagyashri Child Welfare Policy, Raj Rajeshwari Mahila Kalyan Yojana, Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. See, all the names are self-explanatory. The name of the Yojana itself tells us what is it all about. This was all to provide women empowerment and to take care of the children's future. Jawahar Gram Samruddhi Yojana, Antyodaya Anna Yojana to provide food to everyone, and Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, making the roads, pakka roads in the villages, etc. In this plan, the progress of communication system, the telephonic lines, the cables and service sector was achieved as per the expectations. There was success in many points. There was growth in the fields of construction and communication. This was considered as the most successful five-year plan, the ninth one.